your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
It's Wednesday, not Tuesday. It's not Friday. It's Wednesday. And the reason we're here on Wednesday instead of Tuesday is because I was in Los Angeles this weekend and I'm getting old. And so those West Coast quick trips, you know, they wear a sister down. Is my microphone on? Okay, just making sure. And then I didn't do any work. I didn't get much work done this weekend, so I had to catch up on it yesterday because they actually pay me. Okay, so speaking of that, I've been doing political theater and honestly haven't been getting much like love in the cash apps and stuff. And it'd be nice, since I do kind of come here and offer this service, it would be nice if people could support me by sending some tips to my tip jars. I have the Cash App, it's FemJones, Venmo is FemJones, PayPal is contact@feminisajones.com. I really appreciate that support. It helps me pay bills, helps me keep the internet on so I can do this streaming. I know a lot of folks are struggling, you know, but even if it was just $5 to $10 a person, it'd be dope. But if you don't have it, it's cool. It's fine. I totally get it. You know, sometimes people feel like, you know, they need to give $100. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. A couple of dollars works. All right. So we're here. It is political theater with Dr. T. And we're going to bring our guy, Dr. Hall, to the stage. Let me see. Does this one work? This works.
I'm here.
Does this work? It works? You here?
Yeah, I could see me.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
Doing okay. Can't complain. I'm surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make it another day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just got my car out the shop, so
Oh.
fools,
Oh,
they got me.
wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Well, you don't get any of it because you're a man.
No. I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for your money. I'm just saying. I got bills. I got Williams chasing me down.
Got Williams chasing you down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you been paying attention to what's going on in the world to this week, I guess? Today, this week?
A few things have happened that I've been paying some attention to.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a primary race that was really big.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got it?
We gotta talk about it.
We got to talk about it.
We have to talk about
Mm-hmm.
the Texas primary races.
Mm-hmm.
There were actually two. There was the Republican primary and the Democratic primary. People were primarily focused on the Democratic primary, right?
Yeah. It was getting all the news and attention, particularly on our side of the aisle. So within our silo, it was being talked about.
It was a big deal.
It was the biggest of deals. Is the Christian white boy gonna make it, or is it the sassy black girl?
One of the show's favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Jasmine Crockett.
She's been brought up before.
Oh gosh, don't make me laugh too much because I really do hate my dimples. I used to have dimples up here. They like kind of went down, and like people don't know that I have like dimples. It's very weird. But anyway,
I did dimples, or you just don't want.
I think they look weird. So, but anyway, I popped a gummy.
Look at your face though, lady. Like
I popped a gummy, so I'll probably be laughing.
Anything can go.
20 minutes.
Let's
get serious. All right, so Jasmine Crockett.
The Jasmine Crockett.
Texas representative. James Talarico, Texas representative.
Mm-hmm.
They were up against each other for the Democratic nomination to run for Senate. This is a Senate race. And so the senators, represent their state in the bigger Congress, and only 2 senators per state, regardless of the population, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? Texas has a fuck ton of people. And
California.
I mean, they should have like 10 senators. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe.
They should not have the same number of senators as Montana.
Mm.
Montana got 17.
Montana being thrown under the bus right before
Montana got 17 people. One person's the governor, 2 people are senators.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Nobody.
They still get a vote.
We got anybody in the chat that's from Texas? Anybody from
died in Austin? Aaron MacArthur.
Somebody's in Austin. Okay.
Dying in Austin.
So, you know, people know I'm not the biggest fan.
Not the biggest Jasmine Crockett fan.
I'm for Jasmine Crockett. I don't hate her.
It's been brought up before.
It's just I have issues with her. However, a while back on the show, I shared that, you know, I was in a meeting with her and I confronted her about the whole thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene, like the badly built body thing or whatever, and the butch body, whatever. And I let her know that that is offensive to queer people. It's fat phobic. It is, you know, whatever. And I said back then, I said, you can gather a lot of support from a lot of people. A lot of people love your energy. They think this is the kind of energy that we need represented at the federal level, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But just be mindful of that, right? And I said, you offended a lot of people. And she didn't apologize. She actually just basically was like, well, I have queer friends and they were fine with it. So, you know, she did that thing. You never do that thing, right? When you have people that you're talking to, but you have people that you're talking to, you're trying to get on your side, support you nationally, whatever. At least I'm sorry it offended you.
No,
just
I have black friends.
Like that.
Friends.
So so I was just like, okay. Then she had a talk when she basically was shaming sex workers. And I was like, okay, like that's not progressive at all. Like that's okay. Then the whole Hot Wheels thing, and people try to, you know, pass that off, saying, well, everybody calls them Hot Wheels. And I'm like, come on, the man is in a wheelchair. What are we doing here? And I don't care if everybody else does.
Everybody's ableist.
Are an elected official working in the state of Texas. You still engage professionally, whatever that means.
You should.
With the governor of your state. Like you don't stoop to that level, right? So she's put her foot in her mouth a number of times. And then her whole response to being called out about Israel and stuff like that, I don't think that she went about that the right way personally. I think she got super defensive. And I understand. Now here, I just want to be clear. I understand when a person gets, you know, defensive and everybody's coming at them from all sides, especially if you feel like you've been misunderstood. But that's why you have a comms team. And that's why your comms team goes over your responses and your statements. And I don't think that she did some run-throughs or work-throughs on that. And so some of the things that she said were just not cool. Yeah. However, you guys also know I haven't talked much about her in recent months because I just was like, one, I don't live in Texas. And so Texans are going to decide what they want for themselves. Two, I don't need to like go on and on about this sister because there's other going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm disappointed when Black women fall off like that because I expect us to be better. However, I also have to allow us to not be better. Yeah. And I'm working on becoming better at that myself. Right.
Yes, tolerating.
I don't have to love every sister in that way. I can just respect her and allow her space to do what she's going to do.
Yes.
So I just kind of fell back from that. But this race was really heating up. Yes. And a lot of people, she lost. Okay. People who don't know, she lost the race. Actually,
not to bury the lead, but she did not win. It was very close though, 46%.
Yeah, she got 46.2%. To his 52.5%. They're still counting votes or whatever. This was updated March 4th.
It is one of the biggest primaries they've ever had.
Yeah, this was updated about an hour and a half ago. He got 1,212,328 votes. She got 1,068,220 votes. Now, Dr. Hall, that's not too shabby.
No,
because she got more votes than both of the Republicans. Aren't they doing a runoff because nobody cracked 50%? And then they said it was like a record turnout for a Democratic primary. So I don't think that the 46% was shabby.
Not at all.
Right?
For a primary, that number of votes.
That's huge. I mean, Texas has way more people, but you know what I'm saying.
Hey, but of the people, of the percentage that vote, she got enough of them out the door.
Voter apathy in this country is in the toilet. It's the worst. It is abysmal. Like the United States should be utterly ashamed as a nation that was founded on this fake premise of democracy. The fact that they can never get more than 70% of people to vote for the president, and the local elections barely turn out 10% of voters. It's disgusting. It is putrid.
System working as intended.
Horrifying. Horrifying. And that's a problem. So, but big turnout, and she got over 1 million votes.
Yes.
Now, this is someone who filed to run on the very last day that you could run.
Yeah.
Right. James Talarico launched his campaign back in September.
He was ready.
Now, Dr. Hall, I want to show you some differences between Talarico and Jasmine. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I think they pretty much have the same stances on things. I think they're pretty much, almost the same candidate. It really does come down to identity politics. We're not going to lie about that on this show.
Okay.
It really does. But that's most votes. So I think it's really weird that people are making as big a deal about her being a Black woman in this vote as if the average 6th grade reading level American voting citizen doesn't usually vote based on race, gender, sexual orientation, and religion. Like, please knock it off.
This is still America.
Knock it off. Like, please. So everybody want to talk about identity politics, but y'all voted for Barack Obama because he was Black, because that nigga did not have a platform. So please get out of my face.
I believe it was Hope and Change.
The junior senator that been there for like a year and the community organizer did not have a goddamn platform. And he became the first half Black president because he was half Black. But anyway, let's listen to some of, because a lot of people are not familiar with that. And this is the other thing that bothers me. Way back. Actually, I could probably look that up real quick. I was talking about James Talarico before anybody even thought about him. And I can just say that. Hold on. Let's see. Talarico. And I'm going to just put Feminista Jones to see if it comes up on here, because I can usually search better on my phone. But like I probably won't find it. But anyway, back in April of last year, Dr. Hall, April of last year, I said Talarico is the one to watch. He's going to be president one day. And I said that he reminds me of a young Bobby Kennedy, just a little more religious. Okay.
Just slightly more religious. Yeah, because he was doing the speeches and whatnot and pushing back against Republican nationalism for some time.
Dr. Hall, they said I froze. Did I really freeze?
You did really freeze.
I did really freeze. Okay, because it wasn't the drug freeze this time.
It wasn't a drug freeze. You were talking actively and your screen was frozen for a bit. I wasn't going to say anything because last time the bus hit me on the way out. And I was like, okay.
Listen. So I said back then, because I was watching him back then.
Yeah.
Dr. Hall live in the Northeast. Why am I watching this guy? Because I could not escape his videos.
He was being platformed.
Now, his videos were on YouTube. They were on Facebook. They were on Instagram. And I'm watching and I'm like, well, who is this white guy talking this good Jesus talk? Like talking the Jesus talk that the progressive Christians folks say that their Jesus was. So I started paying attention to him back then. So when people started being on some old, like, who's James Talarico? I never heard of him. I'm like, that's on you, because he been out here. And you living in Texas and you don't know who that is, but I live in the East Coast and I know who he is. And he's a representative in your state. That's on you. That's your poor civic engagement. And I think some people need to own that, Dr. Hall, because a lot of people act like, oh, he's untested. He's out of shut the hell up. No, he's not.
Loud ignorance is the American way.
He's in them streets. But anyway, let's watch some video. Let's watch some videos, Dr. Hall, because I think
let's do it.
I think some people just need to understand what's going on here. Okay.
Like pushing for class warfare.
We already have class warfare in this country. It's the billionaires waging war against the rest of us. And right now, the billionaires are winning. They've been winning for 50 years. Trickle-down economics is not a theory, it is theft. For 50 years, the billionaires have been stealing from the American people, stealing the wealth that we created. It's why everyone is so angry right now. It's why no matter how hard you work, you can't seem to get ahead. The American people are not asking for a lot. A job we don't hate, a house big enough to raise a family in, and a little left over so we can go on vacation every once in a while.
Disappearing people. This is the United States of America. We're not supposed to fear our government. Our government is supposed to fear us. The most common commandment in the Bible is welcome the stranger. Scripture says we welcome the stranger because we were once strangers. All of us have that immigrant story in our family history somewhere. All of us come from somewhere else. That's the beauty of America.
Politicians in America will be quoting Martin Luther King Jr. You can't quote, "I have a dream" on MLK Day and then legislate against that dream every other day of the year. Dr. King described what he called the three evils: racism, poverty, and war. What would Dr. King say about 10 million children living in poverty in the wealthiest nation on earth? What would Dr. King say about a maternal mortality rate in Texas, which is 3 times higher for Black women? What would Dr. King say about a new American imperialism seeking to colonize Greenland and Venezuela?
Dr. Hall, they saying they don't like him.
They don't like him?
They saying they don't like him.
They don't like him?
The people say they're taking their ball and they're going home. Jasmine didn't win. They said they're not voting for him.
He's saying some nice things, though. He talks talk.
Do you hear him?
Mm-hmm.
This is what a lot of people saw early.
Mm-hmm.
This is what a lot of people have been seeing, and all of this is coming from his YouTube channel. So I also want you to look at the framing of the videos. I want you to look at,
he's got a good team,
quality and things. Like, he's got good social team. He's got good folks back there doing what that they need to do to get his message out. These are the kinds of clips that he was putting out, and I was sitting there like, who is this young white man? Tell me that don't sound like Bobby Kennedy.
A little bit of Kennedy to him.
Tell me that don't sound like he even looks like him a little bit.
Just a little dash of Kennedy.
You know what I mean? So somebody said, oh yeah, right. He also attended an AIPAC event as a guest of a billionaire donor, which we only know because he was photographed at the event and then tried to shade his opponent for AIPAC associations. They're all funded by him. There's like 12 people in the entire government who aren't. Like, that's what it is, right? This is why we don't go behind any of these people on this show. This ain't, it's all political theater.
All theater.
Right? So who gives a shit at this point? Because one of the things that somebody said about the Texas race is that folks in Texas really, for the most part, don't give a damn about no AIPAC. They don't give a damn about no Israel and Gaza. They ain't thinking about that.
They're about to have to, but
I'm not saying that's all Texans. So Texans, do not come at me. But let's be real, okay?
The average Texan,
right? And we look at who they keep electing governor, right? Like, they don't care about the stuff, right? And so Ernest Owens actually just he had articulated what I was going to say anyway, so I'll just give him credit for that. But he said, we're trying to apply East Coast politics to Texas, and that's not smart.
It ain't the same.
Again, we do not live in Texas. It is a very different environment there. There's Texas Associated Cowboys and things and billionaire oil folks, right? Ranchers and the farmers and things like that. They don't give a damn about no AIPAC, no Gaza, none of it.
None of that.
And so the folks on social media, the social media folks were focused on these things that a lot of Texans are not thinking about.
Don't care.
A lot of Texans can't afford their groceries. A lot of Texans are not college educated and have not been educated extensively about foreign affairs. It's just the reality of it, right? They're pulling their law schools out of like the ABA. Like, come on. Like, again, this is not putting shade on Texas, because I've seen people who are not originally from Texas going hard for Texas. I'm like, well, please relax. It's still motherfucking Texas. But like, you have to run a Texas game. And I think that Jasmine knew that too, which is why when I said the things about, some of the stuff coming out of her mouth, I knew that wouldn't hurt her. Because Black folks in Texas probably think the same. They thought the shit was funny.
Yeah.
They thought all the things that she said was funny. The Christians, you're going to shame a sex worker. The Christians are down with that. Because that's how they are.
Absolutely. The harlots.
Super conservative, right? Black conservatism in Texas under the guise of claiming Democrat. Come on, let's knock it off.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? So
you got to make them comfortable.
So yes, I'm glad that in Richardson, Texas, that you do. I do. But you have to understand where I'm coming from. Let's not be obtuse.
Very large state.
Like, come on. Most of Texas ain't Muslim. Most of Texas ain't Richardson. Like, no. So, and Texas Black folks, I hate to remind y'all, niggas don't care about Muslims either. Especially Black Christians. Black Christians generally, if they church going on Sundays, they look down at Muslims. Ain't no ain't no religious tolerance. I say the same thing about trans people. I tell trans people all the time, black cisgender women ain't inherently safe for you. I might be, but most of us, absolutely not. So we're talking about a situation here where folks have to run a Texas game, but yet the whole country was commenting. Well, not the whole country. Whole country on social media was commenting.
Yes.
As if that mattered.
And
arguing with each other online about it.
Does not translate into votes.
What matters is them, like the voter suppression. Not having enough polling stations open.
Closing polling stations early.
Machines not working and them not extending the time, or saying that they would extend the time and then stopping
them down. Everybody out.
These are the things that is fun. Like, that's the stuff that we really need to like get into, is like, this is what real juicy shit is.
Right. Manipulating the rules. Gerrymandering.
And despite that, she still manages to get over a million votes.
Right. Highest dim turnout still, right? People standing in line 4 hours to vote and then being told they're in the wrong polling location.
Right.
But she still got the numbers.
So let's watch her.
Let's see the Jasmine.
Let's watch her.
Only 12% of Texas is Black.
Yep. But Texas, Georgia, and Florida have combined 1/3 of the Black population in the country.
Wow.
Immigrants are not responsible for a billionaire CEO refusing to increase your wage. The corporation you work for isn't replacing your job with artificial intelligence because of Haitian refugees. Your landlord isn't increasing your rent because someone who's fleeing gang violence in Central America moved into your community. A Palestinian kid who was afforded a scholarship to study at an American university isn't responsible for your child's tuition increasing. Latino farm workers aren't responsible for prices of your groceries increasing. Let's be clear, blaming migrants and deporting migrants and ending TPS won't improve the lives of most Americans.
Okay.
I know someone promised that they would make America great. I am telling you that they are doing just the opposite. I am telling you that we are a land of immigrants. It is time to do immigration right. It is time to make sure that we live up to the promise of this country. The idea that someone ran and said that I will get rid of the bad guys, yet we know more than 50% of the people that are currently being detained in custody have no criminal records at all. Zero, nada. So tell me why you are taking those people out of their communities. They are our neighbors. They are our...
Okay. So they're talking the same stuff.
Yeah.
But the presentation is different, right? So here's
One
the
is
thing.
more palatable to the whites.
Well, one is just more savvy, more audio visually savvy, right? In a time when nobody gives a shit about your platform, because they really don't. Most people do not give a shit about your platform.
That's why we have the president we have.
It's why we have Zoran Mandani. Because that motherfucker lied about half the shit that he promised he could do that the mayor doesn't even have power to do, and people ate it up because they're not smart enough to know that a New York City mayor can't do that.
Flashy videos and charm.
But his social media game was top notch.
Tight.
And that's all he needed. He didn't need to have a solid platform. He just needed to be savvy. He needed to be engaging. He needed to show himself eating a bacon, egg, and cheese in the Bronx. He needed to show himself, with the aunties or whatever the situation, and it worked.
Playing chess in the park.
That man was straight up lying through his teeth about some of this shit. He said he was going to do it, and it's not going to happen. And it's already starting to show that he can't do the stuff, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, we told you he wasn't going to be able to do this stuff." He's going to have a Dinkins, term, and that's fine. It's whatever. If you don't know what that means by a Dinkins term, then
he's got higher ambition.
Why are you watching this show?
Yeah. Do the research. Do the knowledge.
But also, James Talarico has 216,000 subscribers on YouTube. Let's see how many Jasmine has. Jasmine Crockett. She has 508,000 subscribers. And that's on one channel. On her other official channel, she has 98,000. So she has about 600,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Most of her videos are clips of her in Congress, working, right? Very unpolished kind of clips that somebody else
using
got.
C-SPAN clips, yeah,
using the C-SPAN clips, adding a caption or whatever. He's
Zoom
got
in
a whole he's got a whole team following him, recording him, catching these kind of candid moments, right?
Stump speeches,
much cleaner, what have you, right?
Right.
People think about that stuff. Right? They do. All right. So let's look at their website videos. They're like official website videos. So I think this is important. Okay. And this is going to tell you a little bit about how they start to differ. Okay. All right. So let's watch this.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
Okay, now watch him.
Biggest divide in our country is not left versus right. It's top versus bottom. Billionaires want us looking left and right at each other so that we're not looking up at them. The people at the top work so hard to keep us angry and divided, because our unity is a threat to their wealth and their power. So their social media algorithms and their cable news networks tear us apart. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, so that we don't notice that they're defunding our schools, gutting our healthcare, and cutting taxes for themselves and their rich friends. It is the oldest strategy in the world: divide and conquer. But we will not be conquered.
Promoting unity, trying to disassemble class differences, slow pan out to show the audience the people hanging on his every word, the soft, sincere music to elevate the message, words on the screen, offering some vision of what he's saying that might apply itself to the American public or Texas public.
Remember when her ad came out, I said, why is your initial ad Donald Trump's voice? The entire ad was him talking. That is how she established herself when she filed to run on the last possible day that a person could launch their campaign.
There's a lot going on.
He started in September. She waited until the last possible day to file her papers to run. Now, some people may look at that and say, is she serious? Does she know what she wants? Is this really what she wants? Is she just jumping in at the last minute? Right? These are the kinds of things that come up. As a Black woman, unfortunately, you still live in a racist, sexist society that demands you to be twice as good, 3 times as good.
3 times as good.
As everybody else.
3-4 times.
Now we know she is well educated. She is well credentialed. She won the support of her constituents.
Yeah.
Can't take none of that from her.
Not a bit.
But what the hell was that? So if we're talking about the campaign, right? We're talking about strategies. Who decided that that was a good idea? That ad was a good idea? He has been promoting what he will do. Now let's look at something, because this is something. Affordability is a big issue for everybody, right? Let's look at the difference in how they address those. Here we go. I'm going to share the screen so people know I'm not making this shit up. Okay. So, you can go to her website. You can click issues. Affordability is at the top. By the way, her website did not have these things on there until not long before the election. Okay. Very much the Kamala Harris tactic. Kamala Harris did not have a website that had any real issues on it for a long time. So nobody knew what her platform was either. Okay. I don't know if they had the same people. It's whatever. So here's her stance on affordability, right? Blah, 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 blah. She says 30 years of Republican control and failed leadership have caused Texans to suffer. Our state is prosperous in spite of the Republicans, yet the people are struggling. I'm running to tackle the affordability crisis on day one. Okay, how are you going to do that?
Tackle.
Here we go. She's got some Senate priorities, right? I'm going to slash the prices of groceries, utilities, and housing, not just through subsidies, but actually lowering costs. I will fight to blah, blah, blah. First thing, repeal Trump's unlawful tariffs.
Well,
I get it. Okay.
You're frozen again.
We'll make the billionaires and the largest corporations pay their fair share.
We'll try.
I feel like the repeal Trump's unlawful tariffs that have hit Texas the hardest, that's not something she'd be able to do without the Senate majority.
Not by herself, no.
So to make that the number one thing, okay. But let's go to him. Okay. Talarico, taxes and cost of living, right? He's giving you a story about growing up. We lived with a single mom, worked overtime at a hotel to support me. Versus Jasmine, who went to private school and things like that, already had people talking about she ain't really Black because she went to private school, that kind of thing. Again, we're going to talk about the identity stuff. Wait, am I frozen?
You're not frozen now. You were frozen for a moment, but keep talking.
Something's going on with my thing. As long as you can hear me, just let me know that you can hear me. If you stop being able to hear me, then I just...
We can hear you, just sometimes you freeze.
Sorry, who cares? Let's just listen to what I'm saying. So he says, I was born to a single mom. We worked overtime at a hotel to support me. We lived in a little apartment in East Austin. There wasn't room for a nursery, so I slept in a crib in her closet. That's a compelling story, right? Especially for a white guy.
Salt of the earth.
Right. So when Jasmine, when she comes up, the uppity niggers, you know what I mean? Because you're not allowed to be that, right? My friend just told me today, she went to this antique store and somebody was talking about, I forgot who they were talking about, but Cory Booker. And they're like, but he went to like private schools and stuff. He's not really black. He's got money.
Mm.
That's how people really think.
Yeah.
Right?
There ain't black people out here with money.
Jasmine caught a lot of that too. Like,
Yeah.
you really black. They faking. They said she was doing a fake black scent.
Yeah.
And they were saying that like she was pretending to be from the hood or whatever. I was like, no, she just sounds like a Texan. What are you talking about? Right? She was hit with that. But then you look at his story and you're like, well, goddamn, people are going to find that relatable.
Yes.
And she's super well educated. They do not like that. Barack Obama went through that. They hated that man went to Harvard.
How dare you lord that over us?
He was also a former public school teacher.
In the trenches.
He's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When people talk about Main Street and Middle America and the South and things like that, they don't want the lawyers and the highly educated people. They think that those, regardless of race, honestly, they think that those people, you think you're too good for us. You can't relate to us. His story is relatable to them. Okay.
To the general American public, to the average Texan, when only 35% of them have degrees, he fits a different standard.
So he starts his priorities. It says this is not a comprehensive list. If you have policy ideas you want to see from your next senator, please reach out here. We want to hear from you.
Once again, promoting unity and open to the public.
She does not have that on her site, right?
No, you do not have a way to access her.
The first thing he says is create a fairer tax system, make billionaires pay, blah, blah, blah. Then goes to increase wages for workers, ensure Americans can retire, tax credits, lower healthcare, lower housing, lower grocery, lower energy, repeal the Trump tariffs is last. But then he has his track record. Okay. And here she has her track record. Look at this. They both have their track records on there, right? Tax cut for workers, American Family Act, insulin, things like that. He's done the same thing, the insulin, the low income tax, like now, Dr. Hall, how many people you think actually went through these things and read them?
I watched some videos where I saw him talking. He was on Colbert. I saw him on Colbert. He seems like a nice guy.
All I'm saying is this, Dr. Hall. When you are so similar, how do you set yourself apart? When you are dealing with misogynoir, how do you not let it get to you and you actually do the politicking thing? I don't think that she's good at politicking. I'm actually okay with that. Because I hate all of the politicking shit that people do. It's so fucking fake and phony or whatever.
It's the game.
But you're not winning against a white man. Christian white man who, and she doesn't have a whole lot of messaging around being Christian either. There's not a whole lot of clips about her talking about. Yeah, like she and no, as a black candidate in Texas, you don't have no videos of you going to church. That's another thing.
Yeah.
But your game has to be tight. Your social media game got to be tight. Your videos got to be tight. Everything. When you scroll through her thing, I'm going to show you. I want to show you because I feel like y'all need to see this. I'm doing this from a college perspective. You know, I started this show because it's all about the theater. This is her homepage, right? Everything that you're scrolling through, it's either like videos or clips of her on the news, right? Everything. Here I was on the news. Here I am in Congress. Things like that.
News of Congress.
But if we go to James Talarico and go to his page,
with the people, talking to the people, down with the people,
out and about with the people.
I'm one of the people, with the people, talking to the people.
I'm one of you.
You know where you are. I mean, that's good politics.
You're
not wrong.
I'm just pointing out some things that.
Hey, if you're gonna run a campaign in Texas, you might want to be down there among the people.
I'm just
making them feel like you're connected to them.
I'm just pointing out some things. If you wait till the last possible day to get into your race.
Don't do that.
If you
Don't be on
focus
CP.
more on selling your merch for the bad built beach butch body, like
Sassy
literally made a whole.
Don't make your campaign about all the bad things Donald Trump said about
I
you.
gotta find that. Jasmine Crockett merch. Hold on. The clapback collection.
Clapback.
Yeah, hold on, everybody. We're gonna look at the clapback collection.
That's also the thing. Like you have this thing where the president's talking bad about you, but you don't clap back at that. It's just your presence should be enough to communicate a message, but it doesn't quite do that.
It's the clapback collection. Ooh, can't be loaded.
What's happening?
Oh,
I don't know. There's no additional
political consultant book now. This is the clapback collection. Guys. My type collection. Jasmine Crockett type. What is that? Let's see. Purchase the beach blonde. Hold on. Here you go. Beach blonde, bad built, butch body.
Yep.
$40 for a t-shirt. And then the LGBT one. When I first saw that, I wanted to throw something. Because there's moderately progressive gays who love that shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who don't think about what it means.
Wait, your browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. Try sharing your screen. Oh, whatever. I don't know what's going on today.
We can still hear you.
That's all I'm saying is this.
All you're saying is
she didn't lose just because she's a black woman.
She lost the ground game.
First of all, she came close. We just have to point out that she, despite all of these things, she still came close.
Hey, ran a decent race.
But what? I need people to stop all of this dramatic shit about y'all never support black women.
Well, some people are still grieving for more reasons, so it just feels like another punch in the gut.
We can't never get nothing.
You put a black woman up, and then they just knock her down.
We just your mammies, and you don't want us. Saying about two people who, come on, they never say that about Cori Bush. Where was all of this energy and love for Cori Bush when AIPAC funded her opponent, a black man, and got her ousted, and now she's running again? Where's the national support for Cori Bush?
One at a time.
Where's the national support for Cori Bush?
One at a time. We only got room for one.
Do people even know where who Summer Lee represents? Do they know what state she's from? Oh, okay. Summer Lee. Yeah. If you don't know that name, go look it up.
Which one is that?
Because you talk about black women in politics and they don't support them, but y'all don't even know who these people are. Where they are, what they represent, what they're doing right now in government.
I depend on my social media to tell me what to believe in.
Can't even name the senator from Delaware.
And
this is the shit that I'm talking about. This is why I say all of this is political theater.
Yeah.
Because don't even know how many black senators there have been in this country. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking because this is why I say all of this is bullshit and it's all political theater. And people are incredibly self-righteous and they get online and they talk all this shit, but they do not put their money and their time and their energy where it matters.
Yes.
Everybody want to pontificate on Jasmine Crockett this, Jasmine Crockett that, when there's actually people who have real chances of winning their election. Did people really think she was gonna
beat the white guy?
The primary is to figure out who's going to run against who the Republicans nominate.
The Republican candidate, yeah.
They need somebody who can win.
Yeah.
If Kamala Harris taught them anything, you need to put a white guy if you want it to win.
Hey.
And what is most important to the blue wave for this midterm that is coming up? It's making sure they get wins.
Yes, it should be.
So I've been paying attention. I had a whole thread and all these people were responding. And a lot of people said that they did not vote for her because they like her, but they don't think she can win against a white male Republican.
In Texas.
And they are not wrong.
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong, Dr. Hall.
Not wrong to feel that.
So why are we lying to ourselves? Why are people making up fucking fanfic?
I mean, I'd like to believe in a utopia where it's possible.
Speaking of which, that's what Donald Trump said. The Republican primary race for the United States Senate in the great state of Texas, a state I love and won 3 times in record numbers, the highest vote ever recorded by far, cannot, for the good of the party and our country itself, be allowed to go on any longer. It must stop now. We have an easy to beat radical left opponent, and we have to totally focus on putting him away. Okay, Mafia guy, quickly and decisively. Both John and Ken ran great races, but not good enough. Now, this one must be perfect. My endorsements within the Republican Party have been virtually insurmountable. It is such an honor to realize and say that almost everyone I endorse wins, and wins by a lot, especially in Texas. I will be making my endorsement soon, and will be asking the candidate that I don't endorse to immediately drop out of the race. Is that fair? We must win in November. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Y'all dummies think she's winning against that machine? I'm sorry, I don't mean to call y'all dummies.
No need. I mean, Trump has lost a few of those on-the-ground battles in the States.
He has, not in the South.
Not
Virginia's the
supposed to have more Democrats than Republicans, but gerrymandered all to hell.
The game is already rigged.
It's supposed to be, you know.
Why are people pretending other?
Because I'd like to believe that there's some justice in the world and fairness, and if I don't, I'll be miserable.
Am I the only person who understands that none of this is real and all of this is fucking bullshit? Like, am I the only one?
But if I have to stare into the abyss, then I'll lose faith in humanity, and then what am I left with?
Right. Without hope, what do we have? Well, you have chaos and you have anarchy, and so they allow us to believe that our votes matter, that all of this stuff is whatever, because if we finally realize, if we all collectively realize that this is all nonsense, then we'll descend into chaos.
Yeah.
We'll descend into anarchy, and they can't deal with that.
No.
So that's how they satiate us. That's how they keep us underfoot. Go and vote.
Then it'll be mob rule, and nobody wants that. They're outnumbered.
So anyway, Jasmine Crockett lost, and James Talarico won. And I'm seeing people talking about, basically, I'm taking my ball and going home. I'm not supporting them. They can have their Republicans. They can have their MAGA. If you ain't going to support the Black woman, then I ain't going to support you. That's
92%.
Stupid.
Okay.
It's just stupid as that 92% idea. Like, what are you even talking about?
I'd like to.
Because clearly you didn't care about your state. Clearly you don't care about the Senate. You don't care about the federal government. You don't care about stopping Donald Trump and actually winning a majority in the Senate or in the House, whatever. You don't care about any of that, actually. You're just voting because you want to feel validated by a Black woman winning.
And vibes. Voting on vibes.
What's the point?
Vibes.
What's the point?
Vibes. You can run a country on vibes. We are currently running the country on vibes.
All right, so we're done with them. So just real quick, the FCC, I don't know if you heard about this, Dr. Hall. The FCC, CAR, proposes a call center onshoring, English proficiency requirements. Oh gosh, they saying I'm freezing when I try to share stuff, so I'm going to stop sharing. That's usually when you freeze the most, yes. Okay.
When you're moving through
so y'all just going to have to trust me.
Trust that she's still there and talking.
Actually, can you put the link in the chat for the folks so they can get the actual document?
Yeah.
Washington, March 4th. Today, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr announced that the Commission will be voting this month on proposals regarding the use of offshore call centers by certain U.S. businesses. First, the FCC will vote on reforms that can encourage businesses to bring call center jobs back to the U.S. Second, the FCC will explore ways to improve customer service at existing call centers, including a proposal to require call takers to be proficient in American Standard English. Third, the FCC will address illegal robocalls that originate abroad by seeking comment on the targeted use of tariffs or bonds. These proposal focus will be the customer service centers run by communications provided regulated by the FCC. Now that's interesting because that's a pretty bipartisan issue. A lot of people complain about customer service. They're calling these major companies.
I have strong feelings about this personally.
Oh, let's hear your strong feelings.
So I have to deal with a lot of insurance companies now, and I genuinely hate, within 5 minutes of being on the phone, if I have to, one, get through an AI to get to a person, and two, I'm talking to a person who, and this was the case a few more years ago where there would be these like cultural disconnects that I would be speaking in a colloquialism and they just would not understand me. And then it's like having to like explain my issue 3 times just to get a result. More often now, it's just the customer service experience is very abysmal in this country because you're talking to a person overseas who's completely disconnected from the product or the outcome. They are poorly trained, so they don't have an answer, particularly when you have an issue that's particular or unique, and you have to like escalate like 2 or 3 times to get someone or call back multiple times. You still get hung up on. Like, there are so many issues with calling a call center. So I feel strongly about this, and I'm very much of the things I could support in this administration. I do support us doing something about the customer service experience. Now, I've been in the business for a very long time. I once worked for call centers in the United States. I worked for Sprint, DirecTV when I was in college. So I do know, I actually watched us go from an American system where you were just hiring people fresh out of high school or early college to do this, and then moving these jobs overseas, and saw how that transition happened in real time in the world that I lived in with my friends who lived in and worked in call centers. And so I do know they're doing it because it saves them a ton of money. You don't have to pay for health benefits or the high costs of essentially employing an American to do this job. You're paying pennies on a dollar sometimes for these Indian call centers that are like hundreds of people. Like we all know when you called a call center, you could hear the chatter in the background. There are a lot of people on the phone at that moment, often answering for multiple different businesses.
This is only companies regulated by the FCC, right? But that could set a precedent, right? My frustration is when I call about things related to my car and they have not, like, do you know where New Jersey is? Do you know where Pennsylvania is? Do you know where any of these places are? And they're like, hold on, ma'am. I'm like, nah, man. And so I usually say, can I speak to someone who is based in the United States?
Yeah.
So, and that becomes its own thing. However, I don't want us to get into like xenophobia or anything like that. But the truth is that it is taking, there's American workers who would work those call center jobs if they were paid fair wages. And these companies are, taking it overseas so they can save on their bottom line. And, and people, I guess, have vented their frustration. It's like, you can't even understand what I'm saying. So I don't
can't even understand what I'm saying. And like I know this about outsourcing that most Americans don't know. It actually is still expensive because you got to send Americans over to completely train them. You lose money
and run the centers.
Right. You lose customer service. Because of the quality of customer service, you're actively losing customers because they get frustrated with it and they shut off their services or leave the companies. And so it's like we're not even getting the benefits from it that we're supposed to get for these low costs. You just get the low costs. And so the stockholders are making a lot of money, but
it's not going to matter much because they're putting everything to AI now anyway. So
which is a whole other frustration.
So that's going to be its own thing. But Dr. Hall, I know you have to go.
I do.
So we appreciate you being here, and I'm going to continue the show without you.
Yeah, it's your show.
It is my show. So everybody say bye to Dr. Hall.
See you, everybody.
Okay. Bye. It's my show. Get off my damn show. All right, y'all. Okay. So did you all know that the The United States is bombing Ecuador? Okay. You didn't know that? Wait, hold on. Let me pull this over so that it doesn't get confused. Hold on. Because I don't want to keep freezing. Hold on. Is this better? Okay, cool. So US and Ecuadorian forces have launched joint operations to combat drug trafficking. That's what the US Southern Command said, okay? There's no more details. That's it. You guys want to see the video? Hold on. There's a video. They released this video. Hold on. Do I have it here? Oh, yes. Here we go. The video of the action supposedly happening. Okay, here we go. Let's share this. Why are they showing us this? What the hell is this? What is happening right now? What is even happening right now? Oh, they're claiming that it's about, the narco terrorism. But I want you all to understand that Daniel Noboa, that's their Ecuador's president, is a very close ally of Donald Trump. Okay. And they're saying that it was a collaboration between the two of them. But y'all need to know a little something about this guy. First of all, Daniel Roy Gilchrist Noboa Azin was born in Florida. Born in Miami, Florida. He went to NYU. He went to Stern Business School. He went to George Washington University. He went to Kellogg at Northwestern. Okay. Some of the finest institutions of higher learning in the United States. Okay. I think he was born in the 80s. I think he's only like 38. Okay. 38 years old. Second youngest president that they have. They said that he has adopted a militarized approach to crime in Ecuador, frequently invoking states of emergency, expanding the military's role in internal security. He's weakened judicial institutions, and he's raised a lot of human rights concerns. Okay. They're saying that some of his supporters, he has supporters because they're concerned about crime. There is a lot of drug crime. However, and I don't want to show this video because then he might pop me off, but I watched this video suggesting that he is deeply involved in the drug trade himself and that his daddy got these offshore situations, these offshore businesses, got some stuff going on in Panama that he himself was involved with when he was younger. His first business was hosting events, okay? He put on events, goddamn party promoter, okay? All this education, and that's his job. But then they said he got involved with his dad's business, and some of it has been murky. So these accusations of human rights violations and other things show signs of dictator, right? Or moving towards that kind of extreme kind of thing. Now, they're saying, his critics say he's an autocrat, and they accuse him of the centralizing power, very similar to what Donald Trump is trying to do. Donald Trump is trying to make sure that he can centralize all the power basically with himself. And they're also saying that he has undermined the freedom of the press. Okay. So this is who Daniel Noboa, the president of Ecuador, is. So when you hear something about the United States is working with Ecuador to end narco terrorism, I need you to remember that Ecuador also has oil, and that the United States is currently in a situation with a region that is rich with oil. And I think that the United States is nervous about its access to said oil, because I think what's going to happen is Netanyahu is going to flip on the United States. And we already see the friction. There's a fissure there. And I'm paying close attention to it. I don't want to say nothing now, but I'm going to pull some stuff together, because this U.S.-Israel thing, the days might be numbered. Okay. And just putting that out there. You heard it here first. I'm just saying, America's stepchild might be getting put out on the street, or the stepchild might burn down the house. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, the United States Venezuela wants to control the oil in that region. Ecuador, if you go look on the map, the United States wants to have control of the oil in that region. So all this narco-terrorism bullshit is just a cover, because the United States does not want to start narcotics from coming into this country. Narcotics coming into the United States is one of the biggest industries that the United States government benefits from. I don't want you to ever think that the United States government wants to stop drugs from coming into this country. When they talk about tackling fentanyl at the border, they want the fentanyl to come in, okay? They need people to be severely addicted to the fentanyl. Why? Because Big Pharma needs an addiction to treat. As long as people are strung out on heroin, Big Pharma can provide treatment services and charge a lot of money for it. So, of course, the Big Pharma lobbyists are getting in the ears of the United States government, and there's no way in hell that they're going to stop people from using drugs. Absolutely not. If they reduce the number of people addicted to drugs in this country, Big Pharma would implode. Now, here's the thing. I do think people like Mike Johnson and some of the other more extreme and radical kind of evangelical Christian nationalists, I actually think they probably are against the drugs and the things like that. But not Trump. Absolutely not. And the United States government, for as long as we, ever since they had that damn war on drugs, that was a cover, okay? Like, please knock it off. So it's important to kind of get the context when I say that the United States is bombing Ecuador, and there were some people getting upset. It was like, you don't know what you're talking about, and we welcome the help from the United States. I was like, you dumbass. You think the United States gives a damn about drug issues in your country? You think the United States gives a damn about crime in your country? You think the United States give a damn about any single person in Ecuador? No, it does not. And that's the part of the issue I've encountered both times that Trump has been here, and I've traveled internationally to affected countries. A lot of them like Trump. They like him because the first term, it was because they were like, well, he's going to keep, the United States out of our business. And that we like that America first, take your troops out of our countries and get away from us and stop terrorizing us and stop having your military come and rape our women and leave these bastard babies behind. That's what they want. Okay. Now it's more like, oh, we need the United States help because we're actually right-wing fascists ourselves and we are disgustingly racist, and we need him to come and help us get rid of the darkies. Again, it is all political theater. Okay, so that was happening. Do you guys know that this whole operation that they're doing with Venezuela, Ecuador, and all these places, and trust they're going to be moving in on Panama soon. So Panameños, beware, they're going to be coming for that canal. But anyway, Operation Southern Spear is what it's called. So if you want to look into it, cool. But the other thing that just happened today is that Ecuador declared Cuba's ambassador persona non grata, orders mission to leave the country. And Ecuador told the Cuba's ambassador that they have 48 hours to leave the country. Okay. Now, if you have not been paying attention, the United States is doing everything it can to strangle Cuba and is cutting off, all trying to strong arm itself into cutting off, all aid, all support from other countries going into Cuba. They are facing famine. They are facing crisis, health crises, everything. It is really bad for the Cuban people. So we are sending our love and our hearts out to them. But again, United States imperialism and thuggery is harming an entire nation of people. And they're doing it by intimidating the neighbors and making threats and kind of bullying them. And that's what the United States does. It is not a Trump thing. This is the United States way. It does not matter if it's Donald Trump or Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton. They were all doing the same things. This is how they move. Okay. All right. So let's see what else is going on. Oh, so also today, the Senate blocks the limits on Trump on Iran strikes and blocks the bid to limit his war powers. Okay. So today, the Senate Republicans backed President, this is from Reuters, backed President Trump's military campaign against Iran on Wednesday, voting to block a bipartisan resolution aiming to stop the air war and require that any hostilities against Iran be authorized by Congress. The Senate voted 53 to 47 not to advance the resolution, largely along party lines, with all but one Republican voting against the procedural motion and all but one Democrat supporting it. What are we doing? So when people talk about the midterms, right, this is why the midterm stuff becomes super, super important. They need to get people in there that can vote against this shit, right? They need checks and balances. There are no checks and balances right now. You have a conservative executive office, conservative House, conservative Senate, conservative bench. Okay. That's why you see them acting with frenzy and why they are so rapidly like trying to get all of these ridiculously psychotic things done, right? Because they know that their time is limited. And again, that ties back into what we were talking about Texas. Texans are not trying to play. They need to win that Senate seat. Real talk. They cannot have a Republican go. And a lot of people are like, we love you, Jasmine, but we know Texas. And we know these Texans are not going to vote for you. And particularly the Latino men, they voted for Trump overwhelmingly both times because he was running against women. Note, the only reason why Donald Trump can win is because he was running against women. Sexism, prevails. When he ran against a man, what happened? He lost, right? So the Latinos in Texas are going to swing for the white guy. That's just what's going to, they're not voting for a woman. They damn sure ain't voting for a black woman because anti-blackness among the Mexicanos, come on, let's not even be dishonest here. So a lot of people were like, I'm going to go for someone who I believe is a more sure bet because these midterms might be the only thing left to try to save the country from the spiral that's going on, right? Again, I exist outside of this shit because I think all of this shit is complete bullshit. And I know that it is like political theater, but I also understand why people vote and why they do the things that they do. And I need people to get off their high horses and all of this stuff about identity and all this other bullshit and think about pragmatism, right? Some of the leaders that we all revere and talk about a lot, as much as we love and stuff like that, we're pragmatists, right? Now I'm a radical. Fuck the pragmatism. Burn the whole thing down. I don't care. But for those who are still invested in the concept of the United States and who believe that they can fight towards a better future for their kids, a lot of them voted that way. And it wasn't a slight on Jasmine. It was I know Texas. And I know this is still a heavily racist state. And it's still a heavily sexist state. And it's still a state with a lot of billionaire oil magnates, okay? They're not going to vote for you against this Republican white man. In fact, you might get mollywopped. So that's it, right? So now Trump can basically do whatever he wants to do with Iran. He can go forward with anything that he wants. What do they call it? Operation Fury or Epic Fury or some bullshit like that. Let's see what Pete Hegseth has to say about this shit because, oh my gosh. Wait, and so we're going into the Iran thing. Okay, cool. The number of people killed in 5 days, they said, has topped 1,000, according to Iranian state media. The U.S. submarine just sunk an Iranian warship with a torpedo in international waters off of Sri Lanka's coast, according to Hegseth. They haven't used one of those. They said what? Since like World War II or some shit like that. Somebody fact check me. But anyway, let's watch this video real quick. Because you got to see. I mean, when I tell y'all that they are playing a big game of Battleship, it is so freaking corny to me. Like, oh my gosh. Here we go.
4 days into this. And the results have been incredible. Historic, really. Only the United States of America could lead this. Only us. But when you add the Israeli Defense Forces, a devastatingly capable force, the combination is sheer destruction for our radical Islamist Iranian adversaries. They are toast, and they know it. Or at least soon enough, they will know it. And we have only just begun to hunt, dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat their capabilities just 4 days in. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be. Iran cannot outlast us. We're going to ensure through violence of action and our offensive capabilities and our defensive capabilities, as I said, that we set the tone and the tempo of this fight. And that's why we don't talk about, you can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8.
First of all, nice dude's getting an ass kicked. So I'm gonna have you watch something else because here's the Iranian deputy foreign defense minister. United States is just ridiculous. Okay, here we go.
Thank you for having me. Good morning. Our message to everybody who is listening is that we are defending ourselves. We are working hard to protect our people. A war has been imposed on us, and we have every right to defend ourselves. This war of aggression is not our choice. It is the war of choice for the US government and the Israeli regime. And we will defend ourselves to the best of our ability. And, they thought that they could do it in a matter of few days, but they are badly mistaken. We are protecting our...
Here's why. Hold on one second. Because I think something just happened here. Let me stop the share. Okay, let me try again. Add to the stage. Let me know if y'all can hear this. Hold on. Okay, you can't hear it. Okay. All right, hold on one second. Let's stop that sharing and let's try again. Because I want you to see this because I think this is important. Okay, let's try again. This is important. And let me see if where the captions at? Why ain't no captions? Where the captions at? They don't have no captions. All right, let's try it again, y'all.
Important data point that they got out quite early was the idea that in terms of the one-way attack drones, that the Shaheeds, the cheap, effective, longer range drones that you can fire for not a lot, that often are taken down by highly expensive Gulf air defense systems, that they've seen a 70+% drop in those since the early days of this conflict. I say the early days, we're 4 days in, but since the start, and that the missile attacks are now down 80% plus from that time as well. Here's the siren, I'm afraid, Becky, we have to move in as a result. And that, interestingly to me, shows that we're dealing with a potential here that the Iranian inventory is reduced, or it's been hit on the ground by this persistent set of airstrikes, or potentially that they're conserving what they do still have in order to be able to protract this conflict over a number of days. But it gives you a slight sense of the timeline, really, of what...
Okay, so I was reading this thread by this guy online, and I started digging into it. And basically, they're saying that Iran has been preparing for this for decades. They have been waiting for this opportunity to come at the United States, right? And that what he was basically saying is that what Iran is using does not cost a whole lot of money to produce. So they have a lot and they can actually sustain themselves for quite some time with these particular cheap kind of things. Now, the U.S. can come in, as you said, carpet bomb them and all those kinds of things. That's what's been happening. But they're prepared for this. And this should have been over. And it's not over. Like, this should have been like 2 days, and it's not. So it's because the United States does not have the inherent upper hand here, right? So it's really, we got to pay attention to this. The Iranians are ready to fight, okay? We have seen some footage coming out of Tel Aviv. I'm going to show you this too, because I think that this is important as well.
הנה זה נפל פה, הנה אמות והנה פה.
So they rained down on them, got past the Iron Dome, okay? The Iranians, you know, because you know that Israel has the shield, right? They were able to get past that, right? And got into Tel Aviv, got into Jerusalem. And that's significant, right? So Israel goes into, the US and Israel go into Tehran, carpet bomb them, all this kind of stuff. But Iran also got into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. And so you see a lot of like footage coming out looking like Rafah, Gaza, right? And so there's a lot of mixed feelings online. People are just like that Donald Glover thing. Good, right? Two years of genocide, attempting to completely exterminate and eradicate the Palestinian people. You tell them to go south, you tell them to go north, you tell them to go east, you tell them to go west, forcing these people to move, often with just the clothes on their back, erasing entire families, entire family lineages completely gone. Every university, every hospital, every faith house, everything gone, completely gone, looking for Hamas while creating the next generation of Hamas, right? And so now Israel is being attacked by Iran. And on a smaller scale, they're starting to experience the fear that the Palestinians felt. But the difference is this: the Israelis are fleeing the country. They are flying and leaving, going to the United States and to Europe because they have the option to do that. They can always come back. Palestinians leave, they cannot come back home, right? The Palestinians have been living virtually in a concentration camp. If they leave, they cannot come back home. And so all of those Israeli influencers who were on TikTok and making prank calls to Palestinian parents to tell them that their children were dead, all of those Israelis who were making videos mocking the pain of Palestinian people, all of the Israeli soldiers that have admitted to sexual assault and violence, to all of these soldiers, the IDF folks who have terrorized people, to all of the settlers that have gone and terrorized people, forcing them off their lands, to all of the people that went and burned down their olive, I call them vineyards, but their olive farms, primary source of income for them, and they go and burn it all down. For all the IDF soldiers and the supporters and their families who participated in the massive scale execution of Palestinian people, the ones who cheered it on, the one who celebrated, the one who called them, said that they're not human beings, they're vermin, they're monsters, they need to be eradicated. All the ones who are teaching their children to think like this now have to deal with that fear. And now they are caught up thinking that they were protected by this Iron Dome, or that the US would come and save them. The US does not care about Israeli people at all. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't care about Jewish people. It does not care about Israeli people. Israel is a haven for pedophiles. All the pedophiles they catch here, the Jewish pedophiles they catch here and abroad, they send them back to Israel. Israel is a state, a manufactured state. It is not rooted in any religious text. It means nothing. It is an illegal state. It should not exist. And now the people there have to deal with the repercussions of the last, 80 years of terrorism that they have enacted on the people who were there for thousands of years. Now people say, well, what about the children and the innocent babies? I take the same approach as Nat Turner. All they're going to do is raise them to be the next generation of colonizers, the next generation to uphold the apartheid state. Well, what about the people who were resisting? A lot of them were okay with being martyrs. Trust and believe. The true revolutionaries out there who tried to stand up to the regime will understand if they lose their lives as a result of this, right? Revolutionary suicide. It's a way of being. So what goes around comes back around. What I hate is that the first 3 US soldiers that were killed were young Black people. Black people are overrepresented in the United States military. And that's because the United States military targets racialized people, lower income people, and that kind of thing. They seriously, actively target us. They recruit us relentlessly. You will never see Barron in a military suit, Barron Trump. His father's a draft dodger, so that's not going to happen. But the first 3 verified people killed in this conflict were Black people. Y'all know I'm against this military. I am fundamentally against Black people being in the military. The United States military, along with the United States government, is the largest terrorist organization on the planet. I'm against Black people participating in that. Okay. I teach about the US empire, and trust me, it's nothing that you want to give your life for. It's nothing that you want to serve. People go because of the free education and the healthcare and the housing and things like that, because many people feel they have no other options. There are some people who are patriotic, and that's okay for them. I don't believe in patriotism or nationalism or any of that shit. These are all illegal countries, arbitrarily designed, stolen from indigenous peoples, arbitrary borders carved out. It's all complete nonsense. None of us should be here. But anyway, we are. So I'm against anybody who's like, we're defending your freedom. We don't have any freedoms anymore. People lost their jobs for speaking out against Charlie Kirk. What happened to freedom of speech? People lost their journalism jobs for writing about Charlie Kirk in a way that wasn't glowing. So what about the freedom of the press? What exactly are you defending when you put on that uniform, since all of that is gone? You don't actually need to convince me, because I don't give a shit. No, I do not respect what the troops do. I support those who suffer in there, and I hope that they come back and they can return to society and acclimate themselves and hopefully use the benefits that they receive to make their lives better, so they don't have to continue to sell themselves out to this war machine. But no, you will never see me say, like, thank you for your service. No. And my dad was in the service. Like, fuck out of here. I don't care about that. But it breaks my heart to know that the first casualties of this war are Black, young Black people. Was any of them even over the age of 25? Who knows? That's where we are. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I want to talk a little bit about Iran, because I think that a lot of people don't necessarily know the history of what's going on. Let me just open up, because I took some notes. I actually did a little writing on this today. So let's do this. All right. So, and it's interesting because my students just did a presentation on Iran. Also, before I get into this, just letting folks know, you know, you can always send CashApp or Venmo and stuff like that. It always supports the education. It supports the ideas and the thoughts. Okay. So if we go back to like before 1953, there weren't many issues between the US and Iran. They had a pretty positive diplomatic relations. The U.S. has always viewed Iran as a strategic partner in the Middle East, and they supported their modernization efforts under their monarchy, right? But because of the oil, tensions began to grow. Iran's oil industry became dominated by Western companies. And so as we think about all of these kind of colonization efforts, when the people decide they want their natural resources back, the Western hegemonic forces are just like, no, why are we going to give you this back, right? So then we go to 1953, right? And most of the modern antagonism, most of the stuff that we're talking about now, the origin point is in 1953 with the overthrow of the Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. I may be butchering that name. Okay. And it was one that the United States acknowledged later on through declassification, and we didn't necessarily know that that was the situation, but it became evidence that that Washington would intervene to shape Iran's internal order, right? So the U.S. they have their kind of Cold War rationale, and in that rationale, Iran becomes a high stakes arena where stability and alignment are prioritized over the democratic process, okay? Everybody want to talk about democracy. The United States is like, democracy for some, not for all, especially if you are withholding oil that we believe that we are owed, okay? So in 1953, there was a CIA-backed coup, okay? They had, Mossadegh was democratically elected, and he nationalized the oil industry. And this is important when you think about nationalizing oil, because that's kind of what's happening in African nations. They're trying to nationalize their resources, right? The US and Britain feared that this would harm the Western economic interests and possibly move Iran closer to the Soviet Union. So again, we're talking about Cold War stuff and literally dividing the world up. And so giving the location and proximity, they're like, well, maybe they'll go to Russia. We got to do something. So the CIA and British intelligence helped organize a coup that overthrew Mossadegh and restored the monarchy of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, okay? Democratically elected person gets overthrown and the Shah is installed, okay? This was where people were just like, how the hell are you going to come up in our country and tell us what to do? How did the US do this? So that's when Iranians began to hate the United States. And that's where a lot of countries, a lot of people in a lot of countries hate the United States because they keep doing this, right? All right. So the Shah rules from about 1953 to 1979. He had a lot of political support by the US. He had a lot of support by the US politically and militarily. He wanted to pursue modernization and westernization, but he did so with authoritarian repression, secret police, all those kinds of things. The Iranians were just like, this Shah, who again, 1953 to 1979, what is that, like 26 years? That's a whole generation and almost a generation and a half. They're like, he's serving Western interests more so than us. And this is when we move into the Iranian Revolution. Now, you may have heard about the Iranian Revolution from 1979, okay? This is a big deal. A lot of people, I've been noticing in the news that a lot of people have been talking about 1979, but didn't want to go back a little bit more, okay? So the 1979, we get the Islamic Revolution, which transforms the relationship from an allied partnership into an ideological rivalry, okay? This was when the creation of the Islamic Republic, and we had the hostage crisis from 1979 to 1981. The United States domestic and legal foundations for sanctions became hardened, and everything became politically toxic on both sides. Okay. And then during that time, you had the U.S. Embassy hostage crisis. And this was right after the revolution. Iranian students seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. Now, I was just a baby. I don't remember this. Dr. Hall, do you remember? I see that you're over there. Do you remember that, Dr. Hall? You're just a couple of years older than me. You don't remember that. Okay. So more than 50 Americans were held for 444 days. They said that there were Black folks who had been held hostage and were released. And I think this was around the time some Black revolutionary folks were talking about how there's solidarity with the Iranians because they understood the stuff that we were dealing with as African Americans and the racism and all that stuff like that. And it's funny because people are trying to invoke that now. They're like, wait. You know you love, but we don't have nothing to do with this, right? But again, the first 3 people to die were Black. So that particular hostage crisis really damaged the relations, led to U.S. sanctions against Iran. And those sanctions still kind of exist today in different forms, right? So then you have from 1980 to 1988, I do remember parts of this, the Iran-Iraq war. During the war between Iran and Iraq invaded Iran in 1980. United States supported Iraq indirectly because they were fearing the spread of Iran's revolutionary ideology. Who do you all think that they were supporting from Iraq? I'm going to give you a guess. It's a name we all know. Saddam Hussein. We love us some Saddam Hussein. We trained Saddam Hussein. Okay, we trained him, and we are the ones who gave them weapons, gave them money, gave them training, all those kinds of things, only for him to flip on us in the next presidency. Okay, so we began to lean more towards Iraq, and basically got mad when Iraq was like, nah, we're not doing this. You ain't going to keep using us as a pawn, right? All of this bullshit. But they were having their war. So from the 1990s, really through the 2010s, there was still a lot of tension, right? This focus became about Iran's nuclear program. Of course, in the most delusional of senses, the United States seems to think that they're allowed to have nuclear weapons, but not others. Oh, and Russia can have nuclear weapons, but nobody else is supposed to have nuclear weapons. There's like 9 countries that have nuclear capable weapons, and they don't want anybody else having them, because that's why they're able to call themselves the superpowers, because if any moment they can just drop a bomb and kill everybody. So, that kind of does make you a superpower, right? But there's more sanctions from the United States. Iran begins to support local groups, local regional groups in the area, different countries, different militant groups that are not only anti-US, but anti-US allies. And then the United States increases its military presence out there. And if you grew up in the 90s and stuff, you remember the whole peace in the Middle East thing, and it became a thing that, folks would always be talking about. And my dad was in the Gulf War. We had the whole Gulf War, stuff like that. You start thinking about that. So the conflict kind of became institutionalized, right? A lot of counterterrorism designations, a lot of competition, a lot of sanctions and things like that. In 2015, JCPOA temporarily constrained Iran's nuclear activities under intensive international verification and offered phrased sanctions relief. But the U.S. withdrawal in 2018 and the U.S. reimposition of sanctions reopened escalation pathways. So we was getting there. We was getting there, kind of getting there, moving there, and no. So the tensions were renewed in 2018, and they still remain today. The U.S. withdrew from the nuclear deal in 2018, reimposing the sanctions. Both countries engaged in military confrontations and proxy conflicts throughout the Middle East, and disputes over the nuclear development, regional influence, and security continue today. It's best understood if you look at it as like a series of kind of ruptures or fissures over time. There's moments where each side concluded that the other posed an unacceptable threat to sovereignty, security, and things like that. So right now you have the United States saying that they have to do this stuff in Iran because if they get, nuclear weapons, then they're going to come and kill us. And so we have to stop them. And Trump even said so himself. That's how he's talking. It's like, well, it looks like they were going to do something to us, so we had to stop them. Iran wants to stop the United States. They've had this beef for as long as I've been alive, right? We talk about 1979, as long as I've been alive. And they're tired of the United States. They're tired of the United States interfering with their politics, interfering with their ways of being. So now the United States takes out like pretty much the whole royal family. Like, what the hell? Ayatollah, so we go from Ayatollah Khomeini to Ayatollah Khamenei, who they just killed, and killed all his people. I mean, everybody. I think there's one left. I think he lost his whole entire family. And so, again, when we talk about creating opposition, creating a next generation, you just right there. So the Ayatollah has supporters, dictator, whatever you think he is, he has supporters. And there are people in Iran who are happy that the United States is there, and they feel like it's like you keep hearing this language about, you know, the Iranian people can now liberate themselves. Like, we got rid of the bad guys, you guys can go and create, liberate yourselves. But all the people that they had on a short list to take over, they killed them. So Trump is like, well, you know, we got that one too. Like, he's so stupid about it. Like, he sounds like a child when he's talking about it. And so it's this whole thing right now. And so there's a long history of tension, and it's mainly because the United States staged a coup and decided that they want to go in and try to tell these people how to run their country and live their lives. They do not care about liberating the Iranian people. They don't give a damn about anybody over there. They just want to make sure that they have access to the oil. Just like we said in Ecuador, just like we're talking about in Venezuela. Like, that is all the United States cares about. I left for LA on Friday and my gas was $2.98. I came back and it's $3.15. Buckle up, y'all. You might as well go fill your tank now before the prices continue to soar. This is going to get ugly. Every day that we continue to be involved in this, it is only going to get more ugly. Okay. So I just wanted to do a little deep dive. And for some people who may not have had, and of course there's other stuff in there, I'm giving you the abridged version. But, you know, everywhere you go, there are people, there are freedom fighters, there are radical fighters who will be vilified. The United States media will always vilify and try to make people out to be something other than what they are. And you always have to remember that the United States media lies about everything. The military lies, the government lies. You had to stop believing the lies. Get your information from international sources. Stop believing whatever they're pandering and saying to you, because why are we doing this? And you always want to follow the money. So I definitely appreciate you all checking me out tonight. I won't be here Friday because I'm actually going to a concert. But I want to do Sunday again, and then I'll come back on Tuesday. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just like, because in the following Friday I'm at a conference and I'm trying to keep up with this. I really am. We are about halfway through the course that I'm offering on Patreon, which is about the United States Empire after 1865. So kind of thinking about, right now we're covering like World War II and the New Deal and stuff like that. So we're thinking about those things. Shout out to everybody who's participating in that. I said I'm going to probably offer another class in March, probably on research method. A lot of people have been talking about that. But there's something that you guys would want, you know, that's in my wheelhouse that you want me to maybe offer a course that you're willing to pay for. Yes. Definitely send me a message or just kind of reach out to me on social media and let me know. Teaching is what I do right now. I'm an educator. I'm not confined by institutions, although I do teach at different institutions, but I believe in getting this education out to the masses. So I'm happy to do that. Sankofa Summer School, we're going to be doing some calls for papers soon, calls for presenters soon. So if you are somebody who is of the African diaspora and you're interested in teaching a short workshop, an hour long, 45 minutes to an hour long workshop this summer for Sankofa Summer School, keep your eye out for that, because I will be looking for proposals for those types of classes. So we got a lot going on here, folks. Catch the NAACP Image Awards replay. If you pay attention during the Salt and Pepper segment, you'll see a familiar face. I had a wonderful time. I want to shout out L. Joy Williams, who is the queen in charge of the New York NAACP. She is just amazing, amazing, amazing. This is somebody you're going to be hearing a lot from, and this is one of my dear friends. So shout out to her. And I went with her, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. So I'm thankful for that opportunity. I definitely needed the break. And so I love you all very much. And remember, as the world is falling apart and burning, hope is good. Love is good. Community is the best. Remember that we are all we got. We are literally all we got. These people do not care about us. These wealthy billionaires, these tech giants, this government, they don't care about any of us. Okay. And so we are all we got. The threat of war is here, right? It's on our doorstep. They're going to be sending Gen Z out to war if this continues. Young people are going to die. A lot of young people are going to die. Young people from all over, because I don't like when they only focus on American troops or whatever. I hate that shit. Over 1,000 people have already been killed, including all those school children, those girls, those schoolgirls, their volleyball team. Why do you need to kill the volleyball team? This is absolutely insane. So we watch that as we watch the United States try to go into Ecuador and do that stuff, as we watch them in Venezuela, we watch them in Cuba, we watch them everywhere that they are wreaking havoc and terror around the world. We have to prepare for it all to come back this way. We have to prepare for these powers to unite with these smaller countries, come together and try to whoop our asses. So what you gonna do? You got to build community. You got to start thinking ahead. You got to start making plans. Okay? I love you with the love of revolution, the love of our ancestors, the love of liberation. I love you with the love of hope. I love hope. And I hope that you still have some in you, because that's why we keep going every day. I appreciate you all very much for the support. Thank you. I haven't checked my phone to see if anybody sent me anything, but if you did, I appreciate you very much, because girl needs to eat. I love y'all so much, and I will see you next time. Thank you.